smoke. It was traditionally said as a blessing when someone moves into a new house, but he liked saying that to me over the recent years, so we'll go with that. As he moves in, Dad moves into his new place to be with his parents and my brother and his brother. We all wish him, lang may your lung read, Dad. I have this here. It's a random assortment of inspirational stones. I feel that these stones, and I purchased them randomly and looked at them and said, these stones, there's one word on each stone, and it captures some of the wisdoms of my father, the wisdom and the sayings that my father would often say to us. Also, we know stones are known as cairns, and you can pile stones. When placed in a mound, stones, can be built as a memorial or a landmark. We had a house in Pennsylvania in the Poconos, and Stephen had built the rocks, piled up the cairns on the end of the driveway. And recently, when Dad was living with us, his last ride in his car knocked down the cairns. Okay. One of the words that you'll find, I'm going to have everybody pick one randomly, but be you. Dad was always for believing in yourself and being yourself. One thing I realize about him now in later years is he didn't really talk much about his military service. And that was just so interesting to me. I got to know his military friends, and they had all this information. So he did definitely instill in myself and my siblings to be ourselves, be you. Okay, and another stone will say laugh. Uncle Jimmy covered this very well. He loved to laugh. And he often tried to make us laugh. Sometimes very successfully, sometimes, yeah. Another one says, keep moving. This was perfect. Dad was always about keeping moving. He was, bodybuilder. You heard about Mr. Florida from The Priest. He would be jogging all the time. He would ride his bicycle to work when he worked in the garage in Patchogue. He would ride from Holtzville on his 10-speed orange Peugeot bicycle to work. And he was always working out in the garage. A lot of people I know from growing up would pass by and see him in the garage working out with his big mirror and all his weights, Then another stone says love. He loved our mother and the four of us and all of his children. And then he started to lose his mind, I call it. Around 1989, things happened and he moved on to somewhere else. But I always remember the happy home. I realized just the other day that I was raised in a two-parent household. I moved out in 1985 and got married. Mom and Dad were still there living together. So I had the benefit. I never realized that. I always feel like I was family from divorce, but I was raised in that two-family household. Anyway, let's see. What was that? Love. Okay. Smile. Somebody told me today at the church, one of the gentlemen that was there, that your dad had a great smile. Always remember his smile. I remember his gritty smile when we'd say, hey, Dad, how are you doing? And he'd go, oh, everything's hunky-dory. You probably all remember that. And then I thought about grit. He's a man with grit. He has the strong qualities of tough, uncompromising realism. Grit is a toughness and a resolve in conditions of hardship or risk. It's a positive character trait that shows itself in the face of struggle and uncertainty. Now, nothing is more uncertain and risky than raising teenagers. And he did it, I think, 2 or 3 times in his life. So, another one of the stones would say, breathe. I was the crier in our family, and he would often say to me, stop your bubbling, stop your bubbling. But it was eventually Dad. I would cry so hard I couldn't breathe, but it was eventually Dad who taught me the importance of taking time to breathe. Most importantly, what I learned from Dad is the importance of having peace of mind. He often said it to me when I was younger, and I didn't really understand. He'd say the most important thing is to have peace in your life, and I was like, I get it now, Another one of the stones says live, and I remember him saying, you only go through this life one time. You got to make the best of it. Another stone says joyful. He always used to tell me, You have to save some joy for joy. If I was feeling down or I was overwhelmed, he would always make sure to remind me to take care of myself. It may not have been easy to grow up with Dad and live up to his expectations, but he took care of our family, and for that I am forever, forever grateful. Oh, I have an ending. Here to go. Bear with me. Oh well. I think that was it.
That's it.
I'm sorry, guys. This is very. I think that's it. Thank
Okay.
you.